Hello and welcome to the Hindu's coverage of the Union Budget 2024-25, tabled by the Union Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman for the seventh time consecutively in Parliament today. We have with us our resident editors from the southern states, as well as uh, uh, I think the only the resident editors of the southern states for this conversation. A brief top line message. Several of the mentions in the budget, while the government set out a 9 point priority beginning with agriculture and environment. There were considerable mentions of infrastructure spends and on energy power sector, particularly both fossil fuels and non-fossil fuels. Also, an emphasis on climate change and climate mitigation policies, especially hard to abate sectors, and so on and so forth. There was very little mention, at least on the speech per se, of allocations state-wise, and particularly conspicuous in their absence were the southern states of Tamil Nadu, Kerala, Andhra, Telangana, and Karnataka. To discuss this, we have the resident editors of the Hindu's southern states. I will first welcome Bhagishri, who's joining us here from Bangalore here. Bhagi, welcome to this
Hi,
live. Hi. So
thank you.
if I can, yeah, so if I can, we were just discussing this before we began here, and for the top line message that you were sort of mentioning, there was, of course, there's no mention of the state itself in the speech, but a finer reading. What does a finer reading tell you, and if you can expand on that?
In fact, if you look at the budget speech itself, if you compare it to last year's last budget, rather, there was at least a mention of, say, Upper Bhadra project, which is a big irrigation project, and there was a mention of 5,000. I mean, a certain specific allocation for that project. If you look for something on those lines, there is no mention of any specific project or any big allocation or anything like that in. As far as Karnataka is concerned. And even if you look for that in the budget document, there is very little that you see. I suppose there is no, I mean, there's no big surprise there per se, because it's not an election year and it's not a BJP ally state. So there isn't a big surprise there, unlike, say, Bihar or any other state. So anyway, this is the most visible thing that despite several things that Karnataka was sort of had its own wish list, but none of that really figures in the budget. I mean, of course, if, in the fine print, there are some allocations which have to be made for metro or a suburban rail, or those are obligatory things. But even there is no clarity on how much exactly comes Karnataka's way, because that kind of division is not yet known. So that's what
Right.
you first see when you see the budget.
Yeah, so I think the chief minister, or at least the Congress in general, has already reacted. But have there been specific reactions from the chief minister, or the state government? And
Yeah.
when you say a wish list, what exactly can you mention some of the wish lists of the state?
Yeah. Like CM is right now holding a press conference. The Deputy Chief Minister has reacted slightly earlier, saying that this budget seems tailor-made for only BJP ruled or ally states. So that's his first reaction, and I think CM will sort of elaborate a little more on this. So when I say wish list, there are a few things like I can mention. Primarily, like the Finance Commission recommended special grants. This was one of the things that was mentioned, that should be released. And then Upper Bhadra project, like I mentioned, whatever was the allocation that was announced in the previous budget is not released to Karnataka yet. So they had said that it should be released.
This is
And
an irrigation project.
pardon me.
This was an irrigation project, if I'm
Yeah,
correct.
it is an irrigation project that would benefit, North Karnataka, the parched North Karnataka districts primarily. That was
Right.
announced, but allocation was announced, but that is not released. So that's another thing that was mentioned. And also better share and divisible pool of taxes. That has been a long pending demand, as you know. And a special package for Bangalore also they had sought. And some of the more specific projects, like for example, an AIMS center in Raichur, which is the North Karnataka, in North Karnataka district, that has also been, there has been a huge protest. There has been I mean, for years there has been that demand. That was also something that was looked forward to. And recently, Union Minister from Karnataka, HD Kumaraswamy, from JDS, he has been talking about reviving HMT, VSNL, these like PSUs that have sort of in a very bad way. But there is no mention of that. I mean, as recent as 15 days ago, he has visited those units and talked about their revival. But one was hoping that there would be some mention of that. That is also not there. These are some of the key things that one notices. And also, like, for example, even for suburban rail, the allocation, that's the only specific thing that I could spot. It's come down actually compared to the last budget by about 100 crore. So,
Right.
yeah, these
Right.
are the key
So,
things.
right. So clearly, from Karnataka standpoint, rather disappointing. And I must correct my introduction. Andhra does find a conspicuous mention, in fact,
Yeah, yeah,
among the southern states, as you pointed out, mainly because of what everybody is interpreting it to be as because of alliance compulsions. Speaking of which, maybe if I can go to Appaji Redam, the resident editor of Andhra, who now joins us from Vizag, or
from Vijay.
Vijayawada, from Vijayawada. Appaji, thank you so much again for making time. I know it's busy for all of us trying to put together stories and what have you. So, you know, is the chief minister happy with with the announcements? I think that should be my first question, and then how many of his demands have been met? That might be my second question. Yeah.
Yes, Kunal. Yeah, thanks. I think it will take some time for us to say whether Chief Minister Chandrababu Naidu is happy or not. But going by the comments from different leaders and ministers, probably the state is the leadership is happy because most of its demands find a place in budget speech. The budget is, in fact, positive, and it's a timely boost for Andhra Pradesh, which is grappling under financial crisis. Nirmala Sitharaman has announced that Andhra Pradesh, along with Bihar, Jharkhand, West Bengal, and Odisha, will be developed under Purvodaya plan. And the
Yes.
government is yet to announce the Purvodaya plan, what it is, the final details of it. First of all, the announcement that the promises made in the AP Reorganization Act will be fulfilled by the center is a great relief for the state. Under the
Right.
program, AP's capital Amaravati will be given an assistance to the tune of 15,000 crore, which is a big thing for the state, as the last government did not develop anything in Amaravati capital. In fact, it has shelved the capital and came up with three capitals plan: the executive capital in Visakhapatnam, judiciary in Kurnool, and legislature at Amaravati. But nothing has been done so far. It is completely shelved. And coming to Polavaram irrigation project, which is considered to be the lifeline of the state, the center has promised that it will be completed on priority basis. That is
Yeah.
also another big thing which came out from budget. So apart from that, the promotion of industrial development, funds for essential infrastructure such as roads, water, power, railways, etc., are among the promise. And as part of it, the Koppatti industrial node, which is the corridor between Visakhapatnam and Chennai, will be developed on priority basis. And special grants for backward regions of Rayalaseema,
Well,
Prakasam, and North Coastal Andhra Pradesh will also be provided as part of the Reorganization Act. So overall, it's a major mention about the state. Can't say like never before, but it is a very important mention for the state ever since the state was bifurcated. And this is also because the bifurcation promises were neglected so far by the consecutive two governments at the
yeah,
center as
yeah,
well.
it's interesting. Yes, I mean, just to sort of come in there, it's interesting because it was the very same government where Chandrababu Naidu was part of an alliance, and he walked out accusing, or rather alleging, that the BJP-led government had reneged on its promises. and it appears as if it's come full circle where it's been forced to concede certain demands. So it might appear as if Chandrababu Naidu has made a sort of a win. But at the same time, if I remember correctly, he this 15,000 figure, 15,000 crores that the state has, the Amravati has been allocated for capital city development, I think is much lesser than what he had sought, if I am correct. And he also did mention there, of course, both states, Bihar and Andhra, have been demanding a sort of a special package, which the government has said that cannot be done. So, can you elaborate on those demands and how the government is viewing? Sort of, does it see this as a good start, or does it view this as too little, too late?
Yeah, you're right. Actually, the support that the center has given to the state is not, should say, not on the expected lines, at least as far as the statements given by the chief minister, as far as the estimates given by the chief minister Chandrababu Naidu to the center. In fact, Chandrababu Naidu has visited Delhi and met the central leadership, including PM Narendra Modi, Home Minister Amit Shah, and other union ministers, and explained the grim financial situation in the state and gave apparently an estimate of 1 lakh crore in
Right.
assistance, which is required for the state on all the counts. But the 15,000 crore is specifically given to Amravati. We should also look at the fact that there are also other kinds of assistances that the center has promised. But coming to the expectations from the state, the actual expectation is the Bundelkhand kind of package, which was given to the Northeast and a couple of states, which is not a promise, which no central government has, no government at the center has promised. But as a matter of fact, we have special category status, which is mentioned, which is promised by the last Prime Minister at the time of bifurcation. Prime Minister Manmohan Singh has promised it in Rajya Sabha. But that is the actual expectation from the state. And later, even BJP government has also mentioned in the last time, in the last government, that it will consider Bundelkhand package for Andhra Pradesh. But that was never again discussed even. So that's the expectation. And now the state, we should say, that has settled for the special package. But having said that, I should also mention that the chief minister is yet to respond on whatever is given as part of budget statement.
Thank you so much for that overview, Apaji, and making time to join me here at the live. Going to a state which is very upset with the sort of allocation that Andhra has been given, and views these allocations at the expense of its own, is Telangana. And joining me from Hyderabad is the resident editor Ravi Reddy. Ravi, thank you so much again for joining this live broadcast on the analyzing the union budget. I believe the Chief Minister Revanth Reddy has already made some statements about how this is a complete neglect of the state, and this is entirely, and blaming it entirely on coalition politics. So maybe if you can expand on that. And I from what I remember you saying at the news meeting, there's going to be a press conference in another half an hour shortly by the Chief Minister.
Thank you, Kunal. First of all, a union budget was a big disappointment for Telangana, as none of the requests made by the state government, to be precise, the Congress government, to the center has not been considered. Not even a single request has been considered, or there is no mention of Telangana at all. Even though there is a specific mention of AP Reorganization Act as a separate chapter in the entire budget, the finance minister chose to refer to Andhra Pradesh rather than Telangana. This is the common refrain from the Congress party as well as the BR, main opposition PRS. In fact, they have said it's a total farce for Telangana, because the budget itself is a farce, and there was no mention of any allocation for the state of Telangana, sort of a thing. And then BRS President KTR was more critical, saying that Telangana hoped that Telugu daughter-in-law, Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman, would allocate significant funds to the state, but despite having a budget of more than 48 lakh crores, she chose not to make any. She chose not to make any allocation for the state of Telangana. And the first reaction that came from the government was from Irrigation Minister Uttam Kumar Reddy, a senior minister, who said the state has been completely neglected, while taking neglected at the cost of like pampering to the allies such as JDU and the Telugu Desam party. He says while Andhra Pradesh gets 41,000 crores and Bihar gets 41,000 crores and Andhra Pradesh gets 15,000 crores towards the development of Amaravati capital. So, what was the sin of the people of Telangana that they have not been given a single paisa in this budgetary allocation? Sir? In fact, as early as July first week, the Chief Minister, along with the Finance Minister, has been to Delhi. He gave a representation to different ministries, and they have also listed out the 31 issues, 31 demands that the Telangana government has been waiting to be considered right from the creation of the state of Telangana, sir, in
Right.
2014.
So, can you elaborate on some of the demands that the government has listed, and also, if I can play devil's advocate, maybe you can answer both these questions at the same time. You know, it was rather obvious to many, and some would say that this is sort of long time coming, that Telangana did benefit from the economic powerhouse that Hyderabad is for the state, and there was much that Andhra lost in the process.
Yeah.
And you know, in the 10 years that the state has had, Telangana's several indicators in Telangana have done well. Industries, particularly, even employment, per capita income, and so on and so forth.
Yes.
Whereas Andhra has overall suffered, and even in social indicators, whereas in the composite state, Andhra actually was one of the top performing states in the unified Andhra was one of the top performing states in the social sector in the country. While one can understand Telangana's grievances, Andhra, a sibling state, at least linguistically, might want what is its rightful due. So maybe you can answer both this and the demands placed by the state.
Yeah. See, for the last 10 years, Telangana has been making a demand that, a promise that was made in the AP Reorganization Act, such as the rail coach factory at Kazipet. It has been announced, but nothing has come. No funds have been allocated for that. At the same time, there was also demand, and the AP Reorganization Act clearly mentions about the Bayaram steel factories that is in the backward tribal area of Khammam district. That has not been considered so far. At the same time, Center has announced a tribal university in Warangal district at Mulugu. While the announcement has come, the government is still waiting for any funding, sort of a thing. This apart, there are also demand for establishment of an IIM in Telangana that was not considered. At the same time, then there is a mention of information technology investment region that was promised for the state of Telangana. It is not yet become functional. At the same time, there was also mention of establishment of a semiconductor mission for the state of Telangana, which is not yet done. And then we have opening of a Sainik school also was a major demand, which is yet to materialize. And then elevated corridor for Rajiv Rahedari, which is again a national highway. So in all, there are 31 issues that have been flagged to the center for considering the demand, but it has not happened. And yes, it's a fact that after the bifurcation of the state, Hyderabad benefited because being the capital of Telangana state, and then Andhra was deprived of, even after 10 years, it's still struggling to have its own capital, sort of a thing. Yes, IT was a core area that has been like the lifeline of Hyderabad's employment generation, and then you should also look into the pharma industries that have gained prominence across, and particularly during the COVID. So most of the big pharma companies are based out of Hyderabad, and then they have done really well during the COVID time, and then it is also the pharma capital. We can always say that. And employment generation and lot of other global companies are now setting up their satellite centers in Hyderabad, which is because of the infrastructure that has been developed over a period of time. So it's a
Global
fact that
capability centers. Yeah. No, global capability centers, as they now call it.
yeah, Vijay, that's it. The most of the big MNCs are now based out of Hyderabad. So Hyderabad has that benefit right from the development since maybe early 90s, and partly the credit should also go to APCM Chandrababu Naidu, because it was his initiative that lot of IT companies have come down, and during the BRS government regime also lot of foreign companies have shown interest to set up their establishments here, and they've successfully done it. And then even today also Hyderabad seems to be the preferred destination on different even it is becoming a aviation hub sort of a thing. So but the only positive angle that the industrial bodies in Telangana have reacted, saying that they welcome the union government on its emphasis on agriculture, removal of angel tax, and then overgrowth initiatives. So these are some of the positive aspects from the perspective of the industries.
Right. Thank you so much, Ravi. That was a excellent overview, and as you rightly pointed out, it'd be rather interesting. And Chief Minister Chandrababu Naidu doesn't ever shy away from constantly claiming that he built Hyderabad to where it is. And he's hopefully now, and he's now hoping that he can emulate that at Amravati. Probably this 15,000 crore is a sort of a small, at least a beginning. I'm sure he would think.
Only mention in the budget about Telangana is one business corridor that has been planned from Orvakal in Kurnool district to Hyderabad. That is only mention about Telangana in the entire budget. Hyderabad finds a place because of the Orvakal Hyderabad corridor sort of thing. That's the only mention.
Right.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Ravi. Thank you. And if I can now go to Kerala. Kerala, I'm unaware if the Chief Minister Pinarayi Vijayan has already reacted to the budget just yet, but it's also a state which does not find any mention in the budget speech. My colleagues have been combing the finer print of the document to look at allocations. So without further ado, I'll go right away to Tiki in Trivandrum, who joins us. Tiki, welcome, and thank you so much for making time to talk to us. So if I can begin by asking you, firstly, what were the expectations from Kerala, and has there been any initial reactions to the budget?
Yes. Finance Minister K.N. Balagopal, can you hear me?
Yeah. Yes, I can hear you. Thank you.
Okay. Finance Minister K.N. Balagopal has already gone on record saying that this is a political stunt designed to protect the health of the Modi government. Kerala hardly finds any mention in the budget speech. And at first glance, the documents are also don't mention the state anyway. Kerala had presented a list of demands. The wish list, topping the wish list was a 24,000 crore special economic package to address the liquidity crisis. The state government's justification was that this particular sum was not snatched out of thin air, but it was meant to make up for the drastic cuts in borrowing limit and grants over the past two fiscals. But no package has been mentioned. Another major demand has been for the Vizhinjam International Seaport Limited.
Adani is building.
Adani is building, but the state government has a financial commitment to it.
Right. Yes.
So Kerala had asked for a 5,000 crore special assistance.
Right.
So Vizhinjam does not find any mention in the budget either. Also, there's a long-standing demand has been for an AIMS in Kerala. So that is one.
I remember it. I think it was not the capital, but elsewhere in the state. The demand.
Yeah, elsewhere in the state. Yes, But this time, Kerala was hoping for a better deal, actually, because of the changed political situation after the Lok Sabha elections, and the fact that there are two union ministers of state from Kerala right now, Mr.
That's
Suresh
right.
Gopi and Mr. Josh Kurian. So that has not worked out for Kerala, apparently. So
Right.
Kerala had also asked for a special assistance of 5,000 crore for infrastructure projects, which included a tunnel project linking Kozhikode and Wayanad districts. As far as at first glance, that also has not found any mention in the budget. So that
Right.
is the situation right now.
So largely Kerala has been really sort of neglected, I think.
Neglected.
And in any case, overall, the education sector has not really found any prominent allocations. So that sort of translates into also why other areas, aims included within health and education, I would say, has not really found any mention. But despite a lot of infrastructure allocations that have been promised, say in Bihar and in Assam and in other parts, even Himachal, it looks like Kerala has definitely not received any of the.
Not found any mention. Right. And there is also one area of concern that concerns the proposed cooperation policy.
Right.
National cooperation policy. Kerala, as you know, like the cooperative sector in Kerala is very strong, and very strong. And over the last few years, it has been the complaint of the left government that Modi government has been meddling in that sector, which has been a strong state concern.
Particularly with the sort of clipping of wings of the cooperative banks, if I remember correctly.
Yeah. And the introduction of like multi-state cooperative societies. So that is one area which the state will look with a little worry, I think.
So for a sort of a more detailed reaction from the state government, I think we probably have to wait for
Mr. Balagopal has already urged the MPs from the UDF MPs, 18 UDF MPs, one BJP MP, one left. So has already urged the MPs and everyone to stand united to demand the state's rightful share. But it is to be seen what is going to happen.
Yeah. Right. Thank you so much, Tiki, for joining. And if I can go to the Tamil Nadu Bureau now, here in Chennai, T. Ramakrishnan is joining us. In fact, probably just a few yards away from where I'm sitting. TRK, again, a veteran who's been covering Tamil Nadu for decades now. Thank you so much for joining me here on this live broadcast and making time. I believe the Chief Minister has already reacted quite angrily, if I'm not mistaken. Maybe you can elaborate on that, and then also on the demands placed by the government.
Anyway, I think right now Mr. Tangam Tennarasu must be holding a press conference at Anna Arivalayam, that is the DMK headquarters. I have not come across Chief Minister's reaction which you have pointed out. Could be, but about the budget and Tamil Nadu, when it comes to the share of Tamil Nadu as far as in central taxes, so for the present year 24-25, I think it will be around 50,000 crore. It's about 5,000 crore more or higher than what Tamil Nadu got last year. So this is with regard to one parameter, that is a central, there is state share in central taxes.
Right, the devolution.
Then, of course, devolution, and I think that's there's not much, I think, for Tamil Nadu to feel happy. But Tamil Nadu has been expecting that the central government will eventually approve the ongoing the second phase of Chennai Metro Rail project, okay, which is a very huge, it's about 60,000 crore project, and for which Public Investment Board of the central government, union government, gave approval in August 2021, but it is awaiting the approval of the nod of the Cabinet Committee on Economic Affairs for the last 3 years. So this is the major demand placed by Tamil Nadu when Mr. Tangam Thanarasu met Nirmala Sitharaman about a month ago. And also a few days ago, Mr. Stalin also, given he issued a sort of a wish list, and this topped the list. And of course, last year, as you all know, that 2 rounds of severe cyclones hit Tamil Nadu, and it expected some relief, some disaster relief to the tune of about 37,000 crore. There is no mention about that. And then you have Tamil Nadu has been demanding for quite some time, I think rightly also, you merge the cesses, surcharges into the basic rates of taxation, because cesses and surcharges don't entail any share for states. Whereas the quantum of cesses and surcharges has been on the rise for quite some time, whereas the basic rates of tax it is going down or it remains stagnant. So unless this shift is done, then you won't get the state won't get much. There will be only incremental increase as far as the state's share in central taxes. So this is the broad thing, but even then, that is there is one announcement with regard to storage pump. That is what it's called, the pump storage policy.
Yes.
I think because you have you see, Kadambare has been there for very many years, for more than 30 years. Okay, and then Tamil Nadu has been implementing one more project in the Nilgiris region, Kunda, and then they have that is also 4 into 125, so 250. It's about 500 megawatt, and then few other projects are there. Okay, there's Upper Bhavani and all that, and then they have lined up nearly a dozen projects. So this pumped storage policy will throw some light, and then perhaps because the Tamil Nadu has been sourcing funds on its own and finding its own way. So maybe the policy may give some, I think, may make things easier. So that's the only the silver lining for Tamil Nadu, and of course they will try to make use of the broader thing like MSME and then the
the employment linked incentives and so on and so forth, which the government has promised. Yes. So TRK, we are completely out of time. Thank you so much for that overview. I should let you go. We all have our stories to file and much more reactions that are going to be coming into the union budget. As all our resident editors have pointed out, this has largely been viewed as a budget in response to the BJP-led National Democratic Alliance's poll performance just a few months ago, thereby prioritizing agriculture and employment as the top 2 of the 9 priorities that the finance minister mentioned in her budget speech. Finer print is all being looked at by reporters as we speak, and we'll get a clearer picture. So do follow the Hindu's website as well as its Twitter handles and various social handles, and do read it online for more updates on the Union Budget 2024-25. Thank you so much. I'm Kunal Shankar, your host. Bye for now.